Hello, Internet. Today I wanted to go over my personal website, how it's made, what technology is behind it, and yeah, I find it a lot of fun to work on the project. So this is making this video as a reminder to myself on how I made it, and maybe it'll help other as well. Okay, so this is my site here, TravisShears.com. It's a static site, so it's just a bunch of HTML files. It has a bunch of different blog posts. Um, It has search functionality over the blog posts, has snippets, which are like little bits of code, little reminders to myself about different little tricks I find along the way. Has a calendar also where I store some events that are coming up. And yeah, so let's go into how it's made. Um, it uses Hugo, which is a static site generator written in Go. It's very easy to use. So here I'm in the here I'm in my TravisShears.com folder. This is a Git repository, and this is my website. You simply use the command Hugo, and it builds the site in like a few seconds, very fast. You see the 208 HTML files, 208 pages, really quite quickly. For example, every snippet also, here's like a list of snippets, paginated. If I go to the second page, these are all separate HTML files. If I go to an individual snippet, it has its own page. This is also like a different HTML file. Um, Let me pull it up here quick. So when you build with the Hugo command, it builds it into this public en folder. And you can see in here, there's a bunch of HTML files, like every single blog post and snippet. And there's also a bunch of listing pages that contain everything. Cool. So yeah, it uses Hugo. Now, how does it actually make its way to the internet? I've found a pretty nice way for myself, which is using S3. It's Amazon Block Storage, if you're familiar with it. So I have three buckets, one for the website, TravShears.com, then one for the German version. Then I also have a separate bucket that contains different apps. These are shared by these two, and there are also other things on the internet. It's where I host JavaScript files basically for different apps. So we can take a look at TravisShears.com bucket. In this guy, you see there's just a bunch of HTML files, images. If we go into like the blogs folder, Arco, and we have like a bunch of images. Hugo also, I have it set up to shrink images down. So if I go to a post and inspect these guys, you'll see it's using like a smaller version of the image, and if you click it, it'll open the full resolution. So yeah, that's the S3 setup. It's in different buckets. Then over top of S3, we have CloudFront. It's like a different service by AWS. Um, CloudFront is for basically it's a content distribution network. So you have these deployments. Let's go to TravisShears.com, and these guys makes your website and your S3 bucket basically available on the edge nodes of the network. So a person can request a site and it will immediately get this like cached version of the site. So all the files are they're copies of all the files on a bunch of different servers. And what's nice about this, and it's a little trick, is I have two buckets connected to one CloudFront distribution. So anything under the slash apps directory, like on the site, the path apps, will go to a different S3 bucket. So for example, this is an app right here that I wrote, or a plugin for my site. This is called a random block, or it's a random arena block if you're familiar with Arena. Put up the place I store a lot of my research for art projects, different stuff like that. Personal site inspiration, things about playful UI. So this is an app here, a little plugin that makes a call to one of some Python little API I wrote, and it returns a random one of my blocks, so I can just display it on my page. This, the JavaScript and everything for it, lives under the apps directory, or apps path, right? So I go to, here we go, apps, ANSI Forest, that's what this thing is. Apps random arena block, this is this app here. And there's multiple apps, like if you go to the search page, this is all another app. This is a Svelte app, which I'll get into in a minute. But Svelte is really cool. I'd also recommend that. I use it for most of the plugins on my site. It's kind of like React or Vue or these other front-end frameworks, except it's more like a compiler. So it just compiles your code into like very tiny vanilla JavaScript bundles, and that's what I have loaded here on the site. There's like several of these bundles, and you can see 8 kilobytes. They're super small, and 25 for the whole search thing is 25 kilobytes. Super nice. The ANSI Forest is written in PureScript, which is this guy. I'll probably make a separate video describing that whole process, but somehow it's a bit bigger. Kind of sucks, but oh well. Okay, so where are we at? Touched on the CloudFront distributions. Now I'm going to talk about how I deploy the site. So I'm going back to the command line. So I'm in the directory of the site here. I originally used the AWS commands like AWS S3 copy, blah, blah, or S3 sync. But I was running into problems where it was continuing to sync files or copy files that there was no need to copy them, like images, and that was causing a huge lot of traffic into my S3 buckets every month, which was a pain. So I ended up writing my own Python tool called Travis Shear's deploy tool. It uses the Python clicky library and the Boto 3, the Amazon Python library, and I use that to deploy my site. Super nice. So I can just basically specify the upload command, and it takes care of uploading everything for me. And it doesn't upload what doesn't need to be uploaded, if that makes sense. In fact, like we can probably pop in to the S3 bucket. See in here that should be some. Yeah, build hashes JSON. Probably this guy. I don't want to open it. Okay, fine. We'll save it. So fine. Life is hard for videos. Build. All right, so you see like every file on the site has an MD5 sum, and this is stored in S3, so I have kind of like a remote copy of these MD5s and a local, and when it needs to update something on the site, it checks, it reruns and makes hashes of all the files and says like, oh, which ones on the server actually need to be uploaded, and it only uploads those ones. And you can also create invalidations with the deploy tool as well. So yeah, that is the deploy tool. Also, I'd like to touch on the plugin architecture. So these are sort of plugins for the site. like the search and this random block. I keep these guys in a folder here. There we go. So you see we have like the ANSI Forest plugin, we have the Corona calendar, and then the search. Those are like the three ones I've made so far, and all of them use this Svelte, I think. And yeah, they're super nice. No, the Forest doesn't. This is the one in PureScript. So this is just a very basic one. Doesn't even, it uses the library of this ANSI Forest that I also created. Yes. Another cool topic about plugins is I have a plugin template using this like Tenperto guy. This project written in Haskell, it's a way to manage project templating, and it's super nice. So if I want to make a new plugin, it's just like one command. I have all the files I need. It has the same CSS as my website, so I can like create the plugins really quickly, and it has even the deploy script to throw it into that apps S3 bucket you saw. So yeah, super fast, super easy, and super nice. Yeah, and we've touched a bit on Svelte. Again, it's a great front-end JavaScript like compiler where you can have your HTML, your CSS, and your JavaScript where you need them, and has all sorts of reactivity, sort of like React. You can make components and manage state and even do stuff like Redux patterns of actions and reducers and everything is, but all built into Svelte, and it's shipping it is absolutely tiny. It doesn't increase your like load time on your site at all. As you'll notice, my site is pretty quick. I don't even lazy load images. That would probably make it faster, but it's quite fast even without all that stuff, like more complicated tricks like lazy loading images. One last thing I'll touch on right here is the WebRing. This is an open source project of creative people, developers get together and they all put their websites in a list, and it's kind of a list of personal sites. So I'm in the list here, see Trev Shears. But yeah, the creator of it is here, and it's a great resource. Kind of just look and get some inspiration, see how other people's personal websites are made. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, click that here for that. And yeah, that's I think it for this video. I just really wanted to do a historic kind of snapshot of the state of my website and the tools that I use to build it for myself. Come back to later. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.